Welcome back. We're glad you're here for another segment, another look at the wonderful things that are happening in the city of Long Beach. Next segment is on the Blind Start of America. And that's obvious what it's about, but you don't know exactly what they do. And today we have Mary Yu, who is the program developer, here to let us know. And it looks as though we got together to dress
That's
alike.
right, color coordinated.
We didn't know that, did we?
No.
Okay. Mary, how nice to have you with us. We're delighted. And I
Thank
know
you,
you've been
Mary.
active with this program for a while. And how long have you been part of the Blind Start for?
Actually, I got involved because my husband lost his sight almost 5 years ago. We had just moved to Long Beach, and lo and behold, he had glaucoma and he had a retina detachment, and suddenly he found himself without sight.
Oh my goodness.
And fortunately, we did find the Department of Rehab, and over about a year, he was able to get some equipment that led him to go back to working at American Honda in Torrance at the corporate office. But
And could he see?
well, he could see somewhat, but as we both know, seeing somewhat doesn't make it so that you can do your work properly.
Right.
So he had to get, machines that would talk to him, the computer that would talk to him and make things larger. And what he was really missing, though, was the excitement in his life. When he was out of work, he said, well, it would be great if I could, ride my motorcycles or take a drive or, even play a video game. But he said, I can't do that. And so as a lot of people who lose their sight at any time, I guess, in life, you kind of search for what can you do? What is going to be enjoyable in life nowadays? And fortunately, somebody at his job introduced him to Blind Start of America, and a blind mud run.
Blind
mud run,
M-U-D?
yes.
Mud
run. Yes, my husband was not so excited about the mud part of it, but he was like, well, what does that mean? Or, blind mud run, is everybody blind? And they explained that no, it's a chance for sighted people and visually impaired people to get together. And they actually do trainings once a month to get people prepared for this blind mud run. And it's full of obstacles. We originally was out at Camp Pendleton, and now we're at Irvine Lake. So in June, this year it's going to be on June 21st, they're going to do the blind mud run. But going back to my husband's story, it was really exciting because they said, okay, now just because you've lost your sight, that doesn't mean you're going to be walking the course or going slow or anything. He said, we're going to team you up with somebody that's going to run at your pace, whatever that might be, and they're going to be your sighted guide, and they will help you through this challenging event.
So they have a partner that they go with.
Exactly. Exactly. And so my husband, we went to the trainings, he and I, we'd go to the trainings and we'd do our jumping jacks and our, push-ups to get, a little bit stronger. And then they took anybody like you and I, we can become sighted guides, and they explain how to hold on to somebody that's either completely blind or just visually impaired, and how to guide them where they're holding on to the sighted guide.
Mud?
Through mud, oh yes. Oh my goodness, sometimes it's way up to your knees and it's thick, and part of it was a foam bath type of thing. And there's obstacles to climb over and things to climb under.
A lot of things you feel.
Yes, a lot of tactile thing, but mostly the important thing for my husband was that it was competitive, that it was exciting, that it wasn't something that was easy, that it was something that he was going to have to work to, hard to get to.
And he had a partner helping him.
Yes, partner doing that. And then, so they did that, finished that. It was the world famous Camp Pendleton, a 10K, and then the next month, they did dragon boating, blindfolded, for those of us that were visually, you know, that can see, and everybody else was either blind or visually impaired. And that is part of the Long Beach Dragon Boat Festival.
Oh, for heaven's sake, I didn't know that.
Yes, the last weekend in July is always the Long Beach Dragon Boat Festival. There's a wonderful group of people down at Mother's Beach here in Long Beach, and they practice. In fact, we are now a year-round team, and we started to practice in February.
So the people that actually do the work are blind.
You can be either blind or you can be visual. But if you're visual, what we want to do is we want to blindfold you. I'll show you one of our blindfolds. I brought you a blindfold to have for your to take home with you. And I'll show the audience here. So this is our official Blind Start blindfold, because part of our job is to bring awareness, okay? For a lot of people, let's say your husband lost sight, okay? You're going to go through all the changes and you're going to get adjusted to what he needs. You know, like in the refrigerator, I have to put the orange juice in the exact same place. Or in the bathroom, I can't leave out a cupboard open. But what the blindfold kind of does is bring that awareness very quickly to people when they're going, yes, to sighted. So when we do any of our events, whether it's a Dining in the Dark, the mud run that's coming up at the end of June, or the dragon boating that's coming up at the end of July, we ask the people that are sighted to put on the blindfold. And that way, number one, we're all together. We're in the same position as each other.
And it's a real growing experience for those that are sighted.
Yes, quite a bit of education. And a lot of times, some people, they experience that, maybe it's a little bit of dizziness almost at the beginning, or maybe they don't know their directions. And then as we train them, because we of course start off very slow, because the whole idea is for trust, right? We slowly say, oh, can you hear, something going on over there? Or can you tell me what is over to your right? And they start to listen. During our Dining in the Darks, it's the smell and the aroma or the texture of the food. And then people come out and they say, wow, I get it. So yes, it's
so husbands and wives can do this together.
Yes.
And it's a new experience for both.
Yes. Yes,
especially dragon boat and mud running.
That's right, and it's a great team building event. Traditionally, the mud run has been done as a team. We ask 4 people to come together, and we ask one person at least to be blindfolded, and then we supply someone who is blind or visually impaired to go with the group and kind of to bond together. Because what we find as somebody that is visually impaired, there's a little bit more, you don't have quite as much community. And a lot of people still want to be talking, to visual people and everything, but of course, if the person doesn't say anything to them, they don't even know that they're around. So this is a way for people to get to know each other.
Now, those are 2 projects that they have. Are there other projects, or do they have meetings, or is it a large group? Is it, tell us about the group.
Well, it's actually currently still a fairly small group. We are a fairly new nonprofit. We just formed in 2006. My boss, Brian Tom, who is actually visually impaired, he started a business many years ago, right after he graduated from college, California Educational Centers, located currently in Cerritos. And he's been going for 23 years. But what happened is that right after he started his first business, he lost his sight. Completely in his left eye and then partially in his right eye, again, due to glaucoma. And I didn't realize that there's a lot of people going blind nowadays, 1 every 11 minutes in the United States. Yes.
And glaucoma is a large cause.
Glaucoma, we hear about how diabetes is on the increase. Well, diabetic retinopathy is one of the ways that you can lose sight. So he started that, but he kept on going. He found some really good mentors, and he found other nonprofits that helped out, like Braille, the Braille Institute, Center for Partially Sighted, the Junior Blind of America, and everyone kind of added a little something to his success. And he found also some good mentors that were both blind and some that were visual. And so he, you know, continued. And fortunately, he's been in business for 23 years. So when he started the nonprofit, he wanted to, you know, find some way to give back, you know, to the people that helped out.
So he started this group.
Exactly. But as a lot of nonprofits go, probably, you know of some, you're not quite sure what to do and where to fill in. And I think that that's one of the most important things. So as the story goes, he was invited to go into that Camp Pendleton mud run. And he went and ran. He whipped out his white cane and started to go, and people were looking around, probably at him, but he made it through the whole 10K. And then as he finished, you know, they crossed the line all together, you know, he and his now wife and her sister, and they came out, and he said, are there any other visually impaired people? Are there any other disabled people?
He was the only one in that race.
And and they said, we see nobody else that is disabled.
And that's how it started. That's
exactly.
Wonderful. That's wonderful.
Right, because we want to be number one. We not only number one, but we want to be the first to do things. So the first to go blindfolded through the mud run.
Very good. Very
first
good.
Through the dragon boat.
And do you have meetings?
We have, well, right now we're doing Dragon Boat meetings, and we do have meetings as our nonprofit, and we're working on developing a advisory council that will be a combination.
I guess what I'm wondering is if somebody's watching and saying, I want to be part of that.
Yes.
What do they do?
Okay, so the first thing they would do is either give us a call or go online. So our phone number is area code 562.
Well, they'll put that on.
Okay.
Or they can find out what it is with the Blind Start of America.
Right. We want to say it out loud because if somebody's visually impaired, it helps them.
Very good for you, Mary. Say it out loud.
So, yes, for visually impaired people, it's very important to have things on TV that are...
Say the numbers then.
So area code 562. 282-0123, and our website is www.blindstart, which is spelled BLINDSTART.org.
Very good. Well, this has been wonderful, and you know, I haven't had to ask any questions. You answered all my questions just all by yourself. It was wonderful.
Thank you.
So how nice to have you, Mary. It was really an eye-opener, and it sounds like a wonder group. And you tell that wonderful person that started this program how proud we were.
Thank you. Brian would love to hear that, and we're always looking for more volunteers and helpers.
Very good. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And thank all of you for watching. This has been another good day. You're finding out about wonderful things in the city. Thank you for being here, and we'll see you next time.